All right, here's my man Joey. First time here with us. We're gonna talk some high school sports. First off, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Let me just say I'm a big fan of the show. Big fan of you. Thank you for having me.
Man, hey, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we're trying to make this a weekly thing, so y'all gonna see more Joey or someone else if he's not able to. But we're trying to make this a weekly thing. But quickly, were you on the soccer beat for the city tournament?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about what happened in the city tournament and leading up to the championship game?
Absolutely.
I believe it's this Saturday, right? The championship game.
The times are not official yet.
Okay.
So yesterday was a great game. It started off with Lynn Tech and Lynn English. Kind of a defensive, physical matchup. Mm-hmm. And Tech did kind of a sniping goal in the first half with about 6 minutes remaining, mm-hmm. and then a breakaway towards the end that kind of put it away.
Yeah.
But both coaches very optimistic, mm-hmm. and Tech's going to give St. Mary's a good run for its money. I would say St. Mary's is probably the favorite team on mm-hmm. Saturday.
Yeah.
And speaking of St. Mary's, they had a great game. Kaya Jackson and Nick Miller, they're superstars.
Yeah.
People need to understand that one. Mm-hmm. Kaya had a hat trick. Nick Miller had a goal and 2 assists. So a lot of star power with these teams.
Yeah, and this is the first time. I know you said this is your first year covering this. This is going to be the first time in a little bit where we're not having father-son in the championship game between Lynn Classical Eric Marino and Lynn Tech's Eric Marino Sr. Because those two, they've been at it they've been in the finals. I don't know how many years, but it's been between Lynn Tech and Lynn Classical. So this is going to be an interesting matchup now with St. Mary's and Lynn Tech. How do you think that'll play out between those two teams? What do you see the advantages each have?
I like the depth of St. Mary's. I gotta say, I think they're a little more versatile, and I think offensively they can beat you from multiple places on the
mm-hmm.
field.
Yeah.
Tech has, it's 2 or 3 players who can finish, mm-hmm. but I think the star power of Kaya and Nick is going to be a lot to handle.
Yeah.
Especially the big game. They've shown they can play, beneath the bright lights. So,
mm-hmm.
If I had to pick, I might go St. Mary's, but I think it's going to be a very good game, and it won't be decided in the first half.
Okay, definitely. So times have yet to be scheduled, but the game will be taking place this weekend. So make sure you read the item, read the item because they put that up. Next up, we got 4 games this weekend. We got double headers Friday and Saturday. Football is here. Our first game of the night, Kip Academy, St. Mary's. Last year, these two teams opened up football season at Manning Field. They're going to do it again. Last year, it went in favor of St. Mary's with a dominant victory. I felt like last year's game. Were you there last year?
I wasn't.
You was not there last year. So last year's game, St. Mary's got to a 14-0 lead, and it was like, then Kip Academy kind of they held them off for a little bit. Kip had a chance to get some points on the board and make it a game, but then St. Mary's made some plays, stopped them on the goal line, and then it was after that I felt like that's when St. Mary's really took control of this game, losing a lot of guys. Both teams, St. Mary's were graduating, I think like 8 or 9 guys that were key contributors. Kip graduating Vic and Juan, they're 2 all-league guys, and now you got a bunch of young guys and a bunch of veterans too for each team that are going to step up for this matchup. I just feel like we might have a more competitive game this year than we had last year because of all the turnovers that happened with the programs, with the 2 programs.
Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned the elephants in the room with Kip, or maybe they're the Panthers. So the Panthers in the room with Juan and Vic, no longer there. But I was talking to Coach Rabbit a few weeks back, and he was saying, they're such stars and so important for that program that they might have overshadowed a few of those guys who can really play. I mean, you got guys like Chanel coming back. They've still got a lot of star power. But then there are also people gone on St. Mary's. You got David Brown, Kalangis, Falaska, and those boys. Yeah. So I think this one's going to be a close game. Yeah. A possession or 2.
Yeah, I think so too. And then also, you spoke about Chanel. He's going to be taking the quarterback. He's going to be taking the quarterback room. They have a young freshman quarterback who he's injury right now, which is why I think he would have been the starting quarterback week 1 if not for injury. He has a lot of potential. When I spoke with Coach Rabbit, he told me that young freshman quarterback they have, there's a lot of potential there, and he's going to be a really good player for them when he gets on the field. But when I look at St. Mary's too, you got a quarterback that caught on later on in the season. Especially during the playoffs, he caught on, Tyler Guy, and then the guy 2 guys offensively, Ernie Paneas, I think people really are underestimating how good this young man is, because his time when he was at Lynn English, his sophomore year, he played behind a great all-conference running back in Wesley Chandler, so he was splitting carries with him. He transfers over to St. Mary's. You got 2,000-yard rushes in front of you. This is his first year where he's running back number one. He's going to get the bulk of the carries, and I think people that know him won't be surprised by what he does, but a lot of people that really aren't familiar with him are going to be surprised to see what he does on that field at running back this year.
And Coach Driscoll will tell you the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. He's a superstar. Like you said, if you know him, you're not going to be surprised. In his carries and his plays last year, he showed up. Mm-hmm. And Tyler Guy is a dual threat quarterback at its finest, though.
Yeah.
Not just in Lynn, but the surrounding coverage area for us. Tyler Guy can really throw it. Like you said, he caught on. And he performed in those clutch games,
yeah.
Whether it was in the cold, in the semis, or it was in the, Gillette Stadium, of course. Mm-hmm. He can perform.
Yeah.
He can perform. And something about this, when I talked to Rabbit and Driscoll, the respect they have for each other is fantastic. Mm-hmm. They both called it, an up-and-coming rivalry in the city.
Yeah.
So, is it Friday yet? I'm excited.
Yeah, right. I'm excited for that one. And then to cap off Friday night, we have Lynn English taking on Lawrence. Two teams. This is the first time these two teams have playing each other that I can remember. It's been a while. But with Lynn English, my biggest thing with them, because our last glimpse of them is them having a horrendous offensive performance against Lynn Classical on the Thanksgiving Day. Their biggest question mark is quarterback. They were having a quarterback competition during camp between Jaden Rosario Jr. and Limbert Thomas III Jr. But with this team, there's so much talent on that team. Offensive line, they have the offensive line play. They got some young skill guys that I think could really play. But that question mark is just the quarterback. I think if they get that situated, if they get that under control, this team can do some things. Just they offensively, because defensively they'll be fine, but it's offensively. That's the thing I want to see from them in week one. What are they going to do offensively?
Absolutely. And when talking to Coach Anthony LaFrada, who used to be a water boy for English, by the way.
I was there when he was there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I was on the team when he was on.
Absolutely. He is the man and a great guy and a great interview, as you probably know. Yeah. He was telling me he wants his offense to be a lot more imaginative and creative. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to be fun to watch. I mean, if any coach says that, I think it's bound to be fun. Like you said, a lot of skill, a lot of versatility. So I like English tomorrow.
Hey, man, I can't root against my team. I just, my last images, because there was too many games last season where they were struggling to score. That was just my biggest thing. But I know these guys, they put in the work. They gotta show, and they have all the potential in the world. If they somehow put it all together, it's gonna be one of those teams that can make some noise in the city this year, not even in the city, in the area. So, yeah. But I don't root against English. So.
And after starting 0-4, they turned it around last year, though.
Yeah.
So if that pattern continues, man,
yeah, definitely. They've shown they shown when they get it going, they can get it going. The consistency. All they need is consistency, and so they can make that playoff push. Now we go into Saturday, Lynn Classical, who I think might finish with the best overall record out of all the teams in the city, because a loaded roster, so many guys coming back. Your quarterback is healthy, fully healthy, and he's back under the helm. You got a running back, a young running back. You got the receiver. You got this stuff there for them to make a push for this season. I don't know, you checked out their practice. What did you see? I was speaking with Coach Vaughn. What are you hearing from them?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're asking me, the three-headed monster of Vaughn, Hound, and Nasky is something to watch out for. Mm-hmm. They've all been there. They've all been there with the stats to prove it. And I think Tyron Hound, when he got 300 yards in one game last year, I talked to him. He was ecstatic. He loves the game of football. Mm-hmm. He's excited. And same thing with Brian. I mean, he's had his injury problems, but oh my gosh, did he have a great Thanksgiving?
Yes.
A couple touchdowns, 100-plus yards. So I'm excited to see him. And Nasky can deliver. I remember being up at Revere High School, and he had that game-winning touchdown across the middle on a slant route. So, no, I'm pumped for Classical. And I could agree with you in terms of the overall record.
Yeah. And Coach Vaughn's old school. He's good when he's up and comes that fourth quarter. he's gonna employ that offensive line to take over, and he's gonna pound that ball, and you're gonna have to deal with that running bait. Because it's not only Tyler; they got a couple other backs too. Even the quarterback as well. They could wear you out with their run game. So Classico, I think, and especially them getting that experience in the tournament against Andover, they have the postseason experience too, so they know what it takes to win a postseason game and make a run. So yeah, I really have high hopes for this team because that's a really talented team right there with all those guys. And then lastly, we have Lynn Tech taking on Malden. I was at practice for Lynn Tech. I was at their scrimmage. You know, it didn't go the way they probably wanted to go, but I think that offensive line. I think Coach said they're really young at the offensive line, but I think there's a lot of big boys on that line, and they have the skill guys that can complement that offensive line. So I think once that offensive line gets in tune with what the system and how Coach wants them to play, yeah, they'll be a formidable team because they really are underlooked, that offensive line.
That's a great point, and it's going to be hard to replace Tyler David, Michael Monblow. Those are great players. And they're balling right now at the college level. If there's one thing about playing for a James Runner program, whether that be football or track, he's going to have you motivated. He's going to have you ready to go. And he's smart. I was talking to him a lot this summer. I saw him at the 7v7 games at Fenwick. He was just watching. Coaches aren't allowed to coach in that. Yeah. But he was just watching, collecting data, as they say. And I think Tech's going to come out tomorrow at Manning Field for sure.
Yeah, collectively, I think every team in this city has the potential to have a winning season. I think every team in this city, it's just a matter of putting it all together. Some, it might take a little time, but I think every team in the city collectively has the talent to have a good year this upcoming season. Oh, man, we run out of time, man. My man. Appreciate it. Oh, before we get out of here, please tell them where they could find your stuff and where they could read your stuff.
Absolutely. You can read at itemlive.com. A couple of sports stories a day on there, and then the paper every morning, except Sunday morning.
Hey, plug in your social media as well.
Oh, Joey_Barrett with 3 T's at the end on Twitter. Give me a follow. And sports coverage for sure.
All right, definitely. Make sure if you see him at the game, say hello. All right, we'll be there. I will see you there. I'll see you Friday. And I'll see you all weekend, man. My man, appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're out of here.